Well, as the title suggests, this is the last video that I'm making. It's not even a game, so if you're looking for a game, please see any of my other, I think I have about 150 videos available for you to see of various qualities. This last video is just to thank everybody that's watched so far. I will be back at some point, but I have some things going on in my life right now where I'm going to take a break from making magic videos, and I will return one day, but I probably won't be online playing much either. I just have some things I have to take care of. So anyway, before I go, one thing I will say is that I have made one final change to the deck that I'm extremely happy about, and I feel that this deck is about as perfect, I think, as it can get, and so I feel very good about leaving at this time. What I've done is I took out Expedition Map. If you watch the latest video, I had Expedition Map and I had Sarah Ascendant. I took out Expedition Map, replaced it with Sarah Ascendant, and I replaced them with Weathered Wayfarer, and I put Everflowing Chalice back into the deck. Weathered Wayfarer is a lot like Dark Confidant. It's a very, very cheap way to win a game, because of the power of being able to go get Strip Mine, Wasteland, Tomb, and Shop. So it's a very cheap way to win a game against control, where you don't miss land drops, you disrupt their mana, and you accelerate. It's a very powerful card against creatures just because if they don't screw with it, then you start destroying their lands. They have to stop their development in order to kill it, and then they can carry on with their turn, but that buys you time, development time yourself. Assuming that they can deal with it. It works very well even if you have an Abyss draw, because you can stack the Abyss and then at least activate it once and it will replace itself, much like you can do with the Dark Confidant. For those games where you might play a Confidant and then find yourself having to slam an Abyss and then play a couple turns later. Same Wayfarer, he hits a turn earlier and he does similar amounts of damage before it's Abyss time. If you do have Humility, of course, neither creature nor the Trinket Mage that's in here do much. Metamorph still works properly, provided you copy an artifact, but it's kind of the price you pay for playing Humility. We are playing very creature light. We don't want to play no creatures because you don't want to be vulnerable to Telemann performance. On the other hand, you want to give them the fewest number of bribery targets possible, and you don't want to be fighting internally with your deck itself. So that's the thinking behind this guy. If Humility's in play, you're probably winning the game anyway, and if you have Humility in play and you play your creatures and they kill Humility, then hey, you get to start drawing cards. Just hang on to your Trinket Mage for afterwards. So there's that. What else can be said about it? Oh, the other thing that's very nice about Wayfarer, as well as Confidant, is that they're very cheap. So sometimes you can play a game where you drop either Wayfarer or Confidant or both. They get killed, and then you Yawgmoth's Will very early in the game, replaying, say, a fetch land, a Confidant, and a Wayfarer, and now they've got a big problem all over again. It's very nice. I think it's a perfect card. Blue Mages absolutely hate to see this card, and that's the kind of stuff that you want to look for when selecting the deck. Sarah Ascendant. Aggro players hate to see it, but they're also prepared to see it because they've always played, a decent amount of removal. And with Ascendant, you might hit them once, you might hit them twice, you're probably going to kill it at some point, and then you've got nothing to show for it except a bunch of life that's pointless. And you already have an Oloro, you just don't need all that extra life. You did a few damage to them, but we don't care about damage much at all. So it didn't have the right flow for the deck. And like I said, I went ahead and took Map out. Map's a great card, but it was a little redundant with Wayfarer. Wayfarer can quickly strip the deck of all the meaningful lands, at which point you're just getting like islands for your shackles. But the other thing about Map is, some card had to go, and Chalice is more valuable because it's not. Chalice is a weird card. It's a bad ramping card. Like at 2, it's worse than Mindstone. At 4, it's worse than just about every other. Well, it's worse than every other 4-drop we have. It's not really much better than, say, Sisay's Ring, There's another card like that we're not using. At 6, it's worse than Dreamstone, so at every early investment, it's worse than some other card, but what makes it better than all those cards is that it gets to be, those cards are modestly playable, and it gets to be any one of them. It gets to be whichever one you want whenever you need it, and that flexibility makes it pretty valuable. And of course, hey, if you do get a Weathered Wayfarer draw and you have a chalice in your hand, then go fetch yourself a workshop and get yourself an Ancient Tomb, and you've got a gigantic early mana source. So, just the fact that you get to pour excess mana from, say, an early mana drain or early vault draw or early grim, you get to dump it into Everflowing Chalice, and the fact that you can do the similar with shop draws and tomb draws and stuff makes it just a little bit too valuable. And unlike Map, it stays in play, you don't sacrifice it, so it's an extra artifact for Mox Opal and Winter Orb, that type of thing. On the other hand, having added Wayfarer, Kelny Gem is even more valuable and is kicking even more butt in this deck, and I'm super pleased with the role that it plays in this deck. So that's it for the changes. I hope that you have enjoyed the evolution of this deck. I'm sure that it will continue to get better at some point in the future as new cards are released, perhaps. Try anything. I definitely recommend everybody, try different things if there's things that you like or don't like. I know one person was talking about cutting Muddle the Mixture, for example. I think that's absolute insanity. The card Demonic Tutors for Winter Orb, for Scroll Rack, for Isochron, Demonic Tutors for Dark Confidant, Demonic Tutors for Demonic Tutor, Seal of Cleansing. Cards like this, it goes and gets Mana Drain, it goes and gets Rift. Basically, what doesn't Muddle do? Yeah, don't cut that. that's one I don't think there's room to play with. But there definitely are some cards that there are room to play with. Obviously, Seal Cleansing being one, Disenchant possibly being one, Wayfarer of course could be one. Maybe you guys will decide you don't like it. I don't know. Maybe you decide you don't like the Confidant. You want to put Dark Ritual and Necropotence in there. I don't know, and maybe an Herb Orb or something. Certainly an idea, although I think that's more preserved, just because you can cheat it into play. So, anyway, but there's definitely room for trial, and who knows what cards are going to come out. Hopefully they'll print us some more crazy stuff like Rift, Terminus, and some of the other cards that have tutelage, some of the other cards that have made an impact. Verdict. New cards are still coming out, and the deck's definitely not done. I'd say probably the most likely area where we're going to see cards that are going to make a difference are going to be in the lands, if they print more lands. I mean, here's to hoping that they print more. What we really need is more lands along this line. We need more like lands with dual land types. I'd rather play about 4 basic lands and call it good. 6 is a little too many, but you need to have 4 islands, and that kind of forces the breakdown to be what it is. You need 4 islands here, and then you've got 4 up here, which gives you a total of 8, which seems to be the right number for Shackles. Brian and I have found over time, so in case you're wondering what's going on with that. But at least we get to play the full complement of all the copy effects, every one of the most reliable counters, some of the best card draw in the format, cheapest, most powerful draw effects in the format, the most powerful search effects in the format, the best removal in the format, some of the best disruption, Mind Twist and Winter Orb, along with Crucible Lock, Clarn, Fess. I mean, wow. This is, for me, one of the most fun control decks I've ever played, and when I need a break, I go play Edric and just play a different kind of control. So I hope that you've enjoyed all the videos. Thank you very much for watching. And like I said, maybe as much as a year or more before I'm able to make more videos, but I will produce more when I'm able, and hopefully then I'll have better recording tools. We'll get better sound, better picture, and we'll have better games. That's it. Thank you very much for watching, and whenever it may be, I will see you next time.